everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to take a look back at the gritty urban crime drama called Colours. The movie was released back in April 15th, 1988. It stars Sean Penn and Robert Duvall and also Maria Conchita Alonso, and it was directed by Dennis Hopper. Based in Los Angeles within the late 1980s, the story is centered in the urban neighborhoods where the existence of street gangs grows ever more concerning. Within the LAPD force, we see experienced veteran officer Bod Hodges assigned to work with the new rookie officer Danny McGavin in a unit known as CRASH, which is Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums, and the both cops patrol the LA streets to arrest various perpetrators. The two clash both in terms of personalities and approach in enforcing the law. Much more seasoned and wise, Hodges is more patient, reasonable and more practical. He's willing to bargain and applies some leniency in exchange for cooperation and information. The contrast that with McGavin, who is a young hothead, impulsive, sadistic to an extent, looking to crush heads first and then ask questions later. Throughout the movie, they look to apprehend and take down infamous gang leaders as various grudges and rivalries continue to intensify all over the streets. So when looking at Colours, overall it's a very strong movie that looks to take its subject matter very seriously and shows a real intent to show how life really was like during this time. Yes, it's very much a product of the 1980s when we listen to the soundtrack, the dialogue and the various phrases and attitudes and behaviour of all the characters, but a lot of the themes and material presented here do still carry a certain relevance and substance today. And yes, we do see a certain grit and raw and energy and vibrancy in terms of the world building, as we present the Los Angeles streets with all of the waste, graffiti, the broken down buildings, the cluttered alleyways, almost like a barren wasteland, and it looks and feels very authentic. And director Dennis Hopper doesn't sugarcoat things or play on sentimentality or compassion. Harsh and bad things happen to all people. Sometimes it's premeditated and other times it's random and other times it's unnecessary. And there is also a stark lack of sensationalism that makes the film even more realistic. I did also appreciate that the movie never becomes too preachy or manipulative. The gang members consist of all races: whites, blacks, Latinos, Asians, Chinese. There's no good or bad guys here. We also see corrupt elements within the police force itself, once more consisting of all ethnicities. So this is never a case of all white cops are bad and all ethnics are good, or the other way around. Now, you could argue that there are certain racial stereotypes within the film, but you could also excuse that a little bit given the time period of its release. Now, despite the very bleak tone and despondent nature of some characters, there is also an acknowledgement of people wanting to change things and outlining what's wrong for each one in terms of the current setting. We get brief scenes of the community members coming together to raise certain issues, and there is a yearning for some hope of a better tomorrow, and the movie could have done with a few more of these hopeful elements, especially towards the end of the story, but it's good to see that other perspective of things. This is good as the movie never falls into the cliches of certain characters embracing the criminal life, which again makes them a bit more textured. Now, we also get some good time spent on a dynamic between the two lead characters, and an all too familiar relationship of the older, wiser veteran with the more reckless younger recruit. And both Duvall and Sean Penn provide strong performances for roles that are very much suited to their current status at the time of this film. Robert Duvall, already a revered and experienced actor, would very much fit these type of roles, playing a more mental type within the later stages of his career. And Sean Penn once more plays a less likeable and unsympathetic lead character, much less the typical hero and protagonist, and this is one of many roles that he would choose to play throughout the 1980s, but overall both actors have a good, strong rapport together. Now, if you know your movies, you'll recognise a whole host of actors in smaller roles here, from the likes of Don Cheadle, Damon Wayans, Leon Robinson, Tony Todd and Mario Lopez, and all do fine in their smaller roles, although I have to say that Damon Wayans has a very terrible scene here, overplaying his typical comedy stick that's not funny at all and really feels out of place within the rest of the movie. Now, in terms of the film, if there's one flaw, it's the fact that there isn't really a central narrative. At times, the movie feels more like a documentary of the culture. We see cops driving here and there, interrogate many suspects, and yes, we do get some very furious and energetic car chase sequences, evoking the ones that we saw particularly from William Friedkin's To Live and Die in LA, which was released 2 years earlier. But unlike that movie, this story tends to meander because there is no central narrative. There's not one single gangster or villain or killer that the cops have to track down. We get a whole host of various criminal figures, but no one is out and out the true antagonist. So the story can become a bit aimless despite the climatic shootout near the end. I also felt that not enough was done in terms of Sean Penn's character. 3/4 of the way through the film, we see that potentially McGavin may learn the error of his ways, or certainly come to the realization that being a cop during this time is much more harder than what he portrayed it to be at the beginning of the film. But in the end, he just ends up going about his normal business. So I feel this robs the film of a true resolution and a lasting conclusion that it certainly deserved. So when we go on to the movie's release, and the film itself somewhat was a success on a small scale, grossing over $46 million within the US cinemas from a $10 million budget. And critics very much praised its hard, toughened look at urban culture and a gritty look in cinematography, and many have cited this was the first real mainstream movie that took a look seriously at this type of lifestyle and issues. And we could argue that the film paved the way for more powerful and influential movies later on down the line, with the likes of both Boys in the Hood, New Jack City, and also Menace to Society. So in that regard, I can still say that despite not being referred to or referenced later on down the years, Colours still remains a very strong and impactful and very serious look at urban culture and warfare during the 1980s, and it definitely is a worthy watch because of that. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings when looking back at the movie Colours from 1988. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you have any other further movies, television series, or any other topics within the pop, entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover within the channel, then also let me know within the comments, and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.